Hello, folks. We're here today with in the office of Kindra Farizel. She's a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist right here in the Denver market. She owns her own clinic, the Denver Acupuncture Clinic. And I can tell you, I had the opportunity of meeting you about a year ago. And it was at a time when I was looking to learn more about a particular herb that we're going to talk about today. And you gave me a lot of great information about it. And I know with your background, again, being a licensed acupuncturist since 2006, and working with many people, just helping them with overall dietary lifestyle, a better lifestyle to nurture the mind and the body, was really something that stuck out in me when I was reading your resume. And it's been a great relationship being able to get to know you over the past year, and how beneficial your services and what you do have been to so many people. So I thought it would be great for us to be able to sit down and particularly talk about the Reishi mushroom, or Ganoderma, as many people know it. But what I would like to do before we really get started is just kind of find out what led you down this career path.
Yeah, thank you. And it's been great knowing you and learning and what you have to offer as well. So I actually knew that I wanted to go into holistic medicine when I was very young, 16 years old. So it was more, for me, it was more following a path than an intellectual decision. So I went on to get my undergraduate degree in kinesiology and applied physiology, and there I was ravenously studying holistic medicine just because I love it so much, and I ended up doing a long scientific paper on Chinese medicine for the treatment of hypertension, and in the end found that there were significant improvements in people's condition of hypertension, and so there it was like the light bulbs went off, and on I went to grad school to study Chinese medicine, and for me it's just a great tool to help people holistically. You know, it's like Chinese medicine takes into account the whole person, and just as we might take into account the ecology of the entire environment, we take into account the ecology of the entire human being. And so ever since then, I've been doing it and loving it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you, for me, I was a Denver police officer. I'm still doing real estate, but I have this business now that kind of put me into a circle where I had to learn more about the Reishi mushroom and Ganoderma. And I'm not really one where I like to go online necessarily, because I like to be able to trust the information, and when I can get it from someone that I know has the background to be able to teach me about it, that's what makes a lot of sense for me. Yeah. One thing I wanted to kind of share, or ask you to share, is just briefly in regards to the history of Ganoderma, as you know it. I've learned quite a bit about it, but I know that you know quite an extensive amount of information on it. But if you wouldn't mind just sharing that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. The history is really wonderful and beautiful because thousands of years ago there was a book written, and it was the very first compilation of Chinese medicine, of all of the different medicinals that we use in Chinese medicine. It was put together in a book called The Divine Husbandman's Herbal Compilation. And in this book, the author, he categorized herbs into 3 categories, basically high, middle, and low. And the highest herbs were the ones that had the most benefit for the most illnesses and with the least amount of side effects. Then you had the middle, and then in the bottom you had the herbs or the medicine that treated the least amount of illnesses and with the most side effects, which would have been something like a stomach ache or maybe feeling cold or whatever. So reishi actually is the highest of the highest. It is the top-ranked herb as the best herb that is the most effective at treating the most diseases, and also it has the least side effects. And so it's very, very, very safe, and it's also very effective at treating a variety of concerns that our human body has.
Okay.
So this was thousands of years ago that it was discovered, and it's been used over time for thousands and thousands of years, and recently it's been hot in the world of research because of its effectiveness in so many different diseases.
Yeah, and it's been absolutely amazing just in the little bit of time that I experienced with it, but so many, just health testimonials that I've been able to hear about it. One thing I wanted to, as I mentioned a minute ago, I am not one where I necessarily want to go on Google to find out my information. I like credible sources. Would there be any credible sources, whether it's books or authors or websites, that you would refer our audience to be able to go to get more information about Ganoderma?
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend, there's two authors that I would recommend reading their books. One of them, his name is Ron Teagarden, and I believe his last name is spelled Teaguarden. And another one is named Christopher Hobbs, and he's also a licensed acupuncturist, and he's written a great compilation of medicinal mushrooms. So a lot of these books are going to be on a variety of different medicinal mushrooms, so it might be reishi, shiitake, maitake, and so on. The other thing you could potentially, if someone wanted to go online or onto YouTube and get a little bit more of an insider's information, you could use the Chinese herbal name in pinyin, which is Lingzhi, Lingzhi. And so that way you might pull up some things that are a little bit more given by a Chinese herbalist.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure probably within the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have a book that's written by Kindra Farizel that we can also look at.
Hopefully.
I definitely want to kind of touch on the benefits of the herb because, as I mentioned before, there's so many people that are not really familiar with the herb, but they're just trying it through certain delivery systems and experiencing some amazing benefits from it. And a lot of times, we don't necessarily know why it's happening, but it is happening for people. And that's why our relationship, when I was able to meet you and learn more and understand the why, it was really just something that really opened my mind to, again, just number one, eating healthier and realizing the foods that we take into our body really have an effect on our overall health. And there was one thing that I wrote down, food is medicine. This was on your profile, which made a lot of sense to me. And when I think about the fact that, again, if you look at reishi mushroom as a food or something that we're taking in that has definitely been shown to be a medicine in Chinese medicine, I wanted to just kind of have you, just from a general standpoint, talk about reishi and what it's doing for the body.
You bet. And yes, it is a food. I mean, it's a mushroom, right? You could go out into the forest of Asia and find the mushroom growing on a log somewhere, on a decaying log, and cook it up, and there's your medicine. So reishi there's two different ways to look at it. You can look at it from a Chinese medicine perspective, and then you can look at it from a little bit more of a biochemical perspective. From a Chinese medicine perspective, it falls into the category of calming the shen, or calming the heart, essentially calming the mind. So that's one of the big functions, and that's one of the main things that we use it for in Chinese medicine, which is really important because I think the number one cause of illness in our world today is stress. And stress leads to a whole host of mechanisms in our body that lead to disease. So that's huge. The other main thing that reishi does is it helps our immune system. So in Chinese medicine, we say it actually tonifies our chi, and chi is the vital force within our body that keeps us strong and healthy. And it also tonifies our blood. And so blood is like the nourishing aspect of our body. It nourishes our bones and our muscles and our joints and our internal organs. So by helping with the immune system, again, we're looking at another one of our major issues in the world today, which is inflammation, autoimmune disease, cancer, all of these problems that reishi mushroom really helps with. So that's kind of the general idea of what it does. And should I go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to share just a couple of different health testimonials that I've received. And I'm going to kind of read off of a list of just different benefits that people have experienced from it. One, insomnia, people actually sleeping better, weight loss, folks that experience high cholesterol, noticing their cholesterol levels going down, blood pressure, high blood pressure going down. Diabetes has been an amazing testimonial that I've heard from so many people. Multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, lupus, hepatitis, cancer. So you can see that there's so many different benefits of the herb. And I just want you to kind of share, and you don't have to necessarily touch on all of those, but just kind of cover what it is that the herb is doing to have so many different significant health issues that one herb is able to do the benefit people.
Right. Isn't it so amazing
Yes.
how it helps so many different things?
Absolutely.
It's really such an incredible herb. All right, so in Chinese medicine we have this idea of the spleen and the stomach, which is sort of your digestive system. It's where you're creating energy for your body. But it's also where if that system is not in balance, then we create something called dampness. There's an old saying in the Chinese ancient texts that dampness is the cause of the 1,000 diseases. So dampness is at the root of a lot of the illness in our body. And what dampness is essentially is that the regulation of water in our body is not happening in the way that it should be, but it's also metabolism isn't happening the way that it should be. So when it comes to things like weight loss, the reason that reishi works well for weight loss is because it's strengthening your digestive system, and it's helping you to transform the foods and everything that you take into your body so that it doesn't become excess weight, which in Chinese medicine we would call dampness. Same exact thing applies to high cholesterol levels. So in Chinese medicine, oftentimes high cholesterol is a function of having too much of this dampness in your body, and we think about cholesterol as too much fat. If you switch gears a little bit, the interesting thing about cholesterol is that it's a response to problems in your body like inflammation. And so cholesterol is not really the problem, it's something else is the problem down the road. So if you have inflammation in your body, the liver then says, oh, time to create some cholesterol to go protect the body. And so it protects the body. So reishi is most likely working through the immune system to reduce inflammation in your body and therefore cholesterol levels lower, which is different than statins because statins are actually blocking that biosynthesis pathway of cholesterol, which could be a really big problem because cholesterol makes up your cell walls. So it's actually important to have cholesterol in your body, just not in excess. Same thing then with hypertension and heart disease. We're helping the body to reduce the dampness. Insomnia, you mentioned. So we have this ability for reishi to calm the mind. It's called the herb of immortality, and it was taken by ancient monks, Taoist monks up in the Himalayas on a regular basis to create a calm and peaceful mind. And so therefore it really helps with sleep, because usually when people aren't sleeping it's because their mind is too active, they've got too much on their mind. One thing that you didn't mention that I think is just really, really important is allergies. It helps with allergies, and so many people have allergies. And the great thing about reishi mushroom is that it's an immune regulator. So we have issues where you have a reduced immune system where it's not functioning well enough, and then you have an excessive immune system where it's over-functioning. So here you might be catching common colds all winter long, and here you might be having autoimmune disease or allergies. And so by taking reishi on a regular basis, it's actually going to regulate your immune system. Whether you're somebody with an overactive immune system or an underactive immune system, it's going to put you where you need to be. And so now it's August right now. Now's the time to actually start taking it on a regular basis to prevent colds in the winter. And then taking it on a regular basis to prevent allergies and autoimmune disease also. Like lupus. Cancer, it's one of the great ways that it works is to help the immune system when people are taking radiation, doing radiation and chemotherapy, because it actually helps replenish the immune system. And it also helps to prevent leukopenia, which is the die-off of white blood cells. So during chemotherapy and radiation, people's white blood cell counts go down. Reishi mushroom can help them to go up. Also, there are certain aspects to the Ganoderma that could have anti-cancer activity. So taking it on a regular basis, especially apparently if you're consuming the spores, is a good way to reduce your risk of cancer. Just every day take it, you're preventing cancer. Did I touch on a lot of them?
Yeah, I think you did. And it's funny that you mentioned allergies. All the ones that I mentioned, I don't have any issues with. Allergies was the one that I had issues with. And you're absolutely right. I haven't taken Claritin or Benadryl in 2 years. And significant benefits for me were when my kids would get a cold, because I worked so many hours, my immune system was always down. I was bound to get their cold. I haven't had a cold in over 2 years.
Yay.
Yeah, so it's definitely been amazing from that standpoint. Again, not significant health issues for me, but it was a very big deal for me.
These little allergies that people think, oh, I'll just take Claritin, and you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a great feeling, and just having much clearer breathing and just feeling a lot better every day.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did want to ask, because I know in ancient times, again, the herb was something that was cooked in soups and different things of that nature, and it was something where there wasn't really a delivery system to be able to get it to the masses. But as technology has advanced and people are in the West now are becoming more conscious of the herb, have you heard of many of the newer delivery systems for the herb?
Yeah, you bet. And it's really great that they exist, because reishi, again, has so little side effects that taking it on an everyday basis is perfectly safe and really good for you. So the newer delivery systems are going to be things like capsules, tinctures, and things like coffee. Drinking it in coffee is such a great way to go, because how many people love coffee, myself included. And you can take it that way or through tea on an everyday basis, so making it part of your morning ritual or afternoon ritual. If you do your coffee in the morning, though, you can have it right there in the coffee. And other delivery systems that are really new are things like toothpaste and soap. And so if you use it in your toothpaste, then it just automatically, we know that our gums have a very permeable surface layer, and so it really goes into your bloodstream quickly and can start working on the immune system or whatever your body needs it for. Same thing with soap. Our skin is essentially just unabsorbable. We just absorb so much through our skin, so using soap with reishi, you're actually going to get it, which is a lot better than using products that have a lot of chemicals in them. Because do you want a beneficial herb going in your skin, or do you want a bunch of chemicals that are actually going to cause problems down the road, like with parabens and whatnot?
And that's one thing that I love about my company, is because we do have all of those delivery systems, and you think about it, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, most or pretty much all people are consuming one or maybe all of those on a daily basis. And then when you think about toothpaste and soap, yet again, unless you're my 12-year-old son, it's something that people use every day. I
Yeah.
still have to struggle to get him to use it every day, but again, that's what made a lot of sense to me,
Yeah.
is that way people are getting it, doing the things that they do normally, not changing anything, but still adding the benefits of this herb through that.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and it's so much better if you're going to be drinking coffee every day anyway, then why not take this herb into your system? Because we know that it's probably the most amazing herb on the planet, I think.
Yeah.
And so did the ancient Chinese people 2,000 years ago. They also believed that it was the most amazing herb on the planet. So and taking it every day also, not only does it, I was reading about it and it said that it actually can help to change our perception of life. And so in a way of actually really reducing our stress levels essentially, but it calms people's minds. And that's the real amazing thing about the reishi mushroom, is that over time it just gives you a much more relaxed attitude, not in the way of like you're not functioning optimally, but you're not so stressed.
Yeah.
And the reality is that stress causes disease.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I definitely agree that has been amazing, and so many testimonials that I've heard from that as well. Well, Kindra, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to share with us your expertise and giving us a little bit more insight into the power of this amazing herb. And your information will be at the end of this video, so if you definitely have any interest in acupuncture or learning more about Chinese herbs, Kindra's information will be at the end of the video, so definitely reach out to her, and you can rest assured that you're putting your health into the hands of a great person. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. This has been great.